Yoga is not a substitute for medical attention or treatment. Don't perform any postures to the extent of pain or strain. Always listen to your body and meet yourself with kindness and compassion.
We're going to go ahead and start in Child's Pose. So as I mute you guys, you can go ahead and transition towards your mat so that you can find a Child's Pose. You should all be muted by now. And hopefully my big screen is the only one that is showing on your device now. Okay. So in Child's Pose, as always, you may go ahead and connect your big toes together and then open up your knees as wide as it feels comfortable for you guys. And then just go ahead and lower your forehead down towards the ground, reaching your arms ahead towards the top of the mat as well. And I'm just going to lift my head so the microphone sound is a little bit better, but you just go ahead and keep your head resting either to the mat, or if that's a bit far away, maybe stack your hands and rest your forehead on your hands. And then I want you to just land and arrive on your mat, in your body, stepping away from your night, your week, your day, arriving in the here and now, letting any distractions and thoughts that are still present fade away, and bring your attention only to your space, your mat, your body, giving yourself the permission to make this hour only about yourself and about no one else. And then inviting your breath in, drawing it slowly in through the nose and letting it go through the nose as well. Just a couple of normal, gentle breaths here, nothing fancy, just finding your own pace, your own rhythm. And then while we're still starting it off slowly, we want to connect directly to our parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for our resting state, by adding a little bit of a breath awareness, breath practice, which is called samavriti, which simply means that we're balancing out the length of the breath. So I want you to inhale for the count of 4, and then exhale for the same amount. If 4 is too much or too low, feel free to adapt to 3 or 5 or even higher. Now focusing on expanding the front side of your body with every inhale, bringing more space into your ribs, and allowing each exhale to ground you even deeper into the floor, to allow the heels and the hips to come closer towards each other. With an inhale, finding that light expansion across the skin on your back. Exhaling, softening facial muscles and your breath. Wherever you are, finish this round. And then come back to your natural, normal rhythm of breath, letting it flow effortlessly in and out of the nose. And as we start practicing, it's always in your hands how strong you want to practice. So just always be aware that Child's Pose is here whenever you need to take a little break. Just feel free to drop down onto your knees and take a breath or even a few more in your Child's Pose. On our next inhale, we're going to make our way up into a tabletop position. So taking your time to get there, finding that position where you stack your shoulders over your wrists, your knees, underneath the hips, and then see if your toes are pointing back in line with the heels and the hands and the knees. We're going to go gently for 3 rounds of cat and cow here, finding that movement into the spine. So as we inhale, your belly drops towards the ground, your shoulders pull back, and then your gaze lifts. With an exhale, bring your chin to the chest, press everything with a connection to the mat down and away from you as your shoulder blades push apart. Inhaling again, finding space across your collarbones, pushing your heart forward. And with an exhale, finding that rounding in the upper back body. Inhale again, finding that space across the front side of the body just once more. And with an exhale, find your cat, your rounding of the upper back body. Inhale, coming back into a neutral tabletop position. And then just go ahead and extend your legs back, lift your knees, and find your plank position. In your plank pose, we want to engage the entire front side of the body. So your gaze is down towards the mat, neck is nice and loose and relaxed here. Fingers are spreading far apart from each other, pressing down through all 10 fingertips, heels gently pressing back. And then finding that little dome shape between your shoulder blades. Notice if your breath has become choppy, give it another big breath in here. And a full breath out. Dropping your knees down, your chest and your chin as you bring your elbows next to the ribs, all the way lowering down onto your belly, fingertips still pointing forward, stacked underneath the shoulders. With an inhale and toes pointing back, we're going to lift up into a baby cobra. Go easy. And exhale, drop your forehead down to the ground. Inhale, shoulders away from the ears, lift up, baby cobra, number 2. Exhale, release down. Inhale, number 3, baby cobra. Stay here, gaze past your right shoulder. Inhale towards center, gazing over your left shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale, forehead down. Tucking the toes, push yourself up over your knees, back into downward facing dog. Stay in your downward facing dog. I'm just going to connect my cable to the computer, otherwise I might lose connection on my computer. So just stay in your down dog, pedal your heels here. Find length through the backs of the legs. Making sure that you keep equal pressure into the thumb and the index finger. Pedaling so that you can feel that extension in the backs of the legs. Maybe pressing your chest back a little bit more in space. Taking 2 more breaths here in your down dog. And then from here, allowing the knees to drop back down towards the ground. Find your tabletop position again. Bringing the big toes to connect once again. And then take your left hand underneath your face towards the center of the mat. As you inhale, right arm reaches all the way up, finding that big opening through the front side right shoulder here. Maybe you want to circle into that right hand. And then taking that right hand and threading it underneath your left armpit all the way over so that you can rest your right temple and right shoulder down to the ground. Left hand reaches forward, finding a little bit of pressure into the big toes and pressing into the left hand so that you can feel that stretch in the top of the right shoulder. Big inhale here. Exhale, release. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Left hand comes back in front of your face, press down and lift yourself back up one more time. Open through the front and the right side of your body in the top shoulder region. And exhale, replacing right and left hand. Right away, inhale, finding that lift through the left arm, finding that movement in your left hand here. Good. One more breath in here. Neck is relaxed. And with an exhale, threading left arm underneath the right armpit, finding a gentle release of your side of the head and the left shoulder to the mat as the right fingertips reach forward and away towards the top of the mat. Big breath in here. Big breath out. One more inhale. Exhale. Right hand presses down in front of your face. Lift yourself up. Lift your left arm up. Find that opening again. And exhale. Plant your hands down. Bring your feet to tuck under and lift yourself back up into your downward facing dog. Maybe now you can press your chest a little bit more back towards your thighs. Make sure your head is relaxed here. Pressing firmly again into your index and your thumb. Taking one more breath in here. And then begin to walk your hands to the feet. So we're ending up in a forward fold at the back of our mat. Find your halfway lift here. Lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold forward and down. On your next inhale, chin to chest, roll all the way up into standing. Lifting yourself all the way up. Beautiful. Arms reach up overhead, gaze follows, lengthen entirely. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a moment here, just close your eyes. Find that connection, breath and body. The pressure of your palms is ever so slightly keeping a little chin tuck so that you can lengthen the back of your neck. With your eyes closed, just listen or join in as I chant one to open the class. Inhale, taking a breath in. Om. Inhale, blink your eyes back open. Once more, reach your arms up overhead. Find that length. Exhale, fold and dive into your forward fold. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, hands down, walk yourself back into your plank pose. Remember, this is a strong pose, engaging the entire front side of the body. We want to really bring the shoulders, the shoulder blades a little bit more apart. Engage through the thighs. Push the heels back. Navel is activated. Take another big breath here. And exhale, knees down to the ground, chest and chin down. Inhale to your cobra. Exhale, release the forehead down to the mat. Open your fingertips up apart so the fingertips come off the mat. And then inhale, twisting cobra to the left. Lift yourself up here. Exhale through center. Inhale, twisting cobra to the right. Exhale back through center. Plant your hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes over the knees. We flow back, downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here in down dog to transition. Always finding that pedaling sensation if you feel that's something you want to really engage in. Pressing the shoulders back, chest back, so that we can lengthen the spine. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to lift the heels up into the air, bringing the right leg all the way up and into the air as well. 3-legged dog. Maybe find a little movement into your right ankle and the toes of the right foot. And we're going to circle that right knee, opening our hips. So bend the right knee and begin circling big circles forward. That's it. Reversing your circles, just going the other way around. Remember, hands are pressing down firmly. Shoulders rotating externally. That's it. Back into your three-legged dog. Lengthen again through the spine. Looking past your fingertips and step your right foot all the way up in between your hands. Pressing the feet firmly away from each other so that we can easily release the fingertips and lift ourselves up into crescent. As we arrive in crescent, we keep the foundation of the legs strong, and we're going to release the shoulders away from the ears, spreading the fingertips far apart, maybe gently rotating so that your palms are facing a little bit behind you. Big breath in here, full breath out. Taking one more breath here. Remember that left heel is lifted high, left leg is engaged. Now keep what you have in the lower body and just tilt your torso diagonally forward, maybe bending a bit more into that right knee so that you can feel the energy reaching from the left heel all the way into the fingertips, diagonally forward. And we're going to be here, releasing the breath, releasing distraction, releasing any thoughts that may be limiting the belief that we can do this. As we inhale, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, pull your elbows towards your ribs. Inhale, extend the fingertips. Exhale, pull the elbows in. Two more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull the elbows in. One last one. Inhale, extend. And exhale, plant your hands down. Step your right leg back, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, step the right leg to the outside of the right hand. Find your lizard pose. The left heel still is lifted up high. Maybe you need to come up onto your fingertips so that you can find length in your spine. And then just see if you want to wiggle a couple of times back and forth, feeling that gentle opening in the right inner hip crease. Big breath here. Big breath out. Now the left hand stays where it is as we go into a gentle opening twist, lifting the left arm up into the air, kind of like that needle stretch. Big breath in here. Keep pressing the feet away. As we exhale, the right hand comes back down. And then we're going to go into a wide stance pyramid pose by extending the right leg. We're going to go ahead and find that stretch in the back of the right hamstring. Maybe your hands need to walk a little bit back so they stack underneath your shoulders. And maybe you need to come up onto fingertips so that you can lengthen crown of the head away from your tailbone. That's it. Looking good, everyone. Little pressure into the right big toe so we don't roll onto that outer blade of the right foot. Last breath in here. And then bring both hands towards the center of the mat underneath your shoulders and step your left leg forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Releasing the hands, grab your outer elbows, find ragdoll pose. Little sway side to side may help to take out any compression in your lower back. And the more you transfer the weight into your toes, of course, the more you will feel the stretch in the backs of the legs. Head is heavy, crown of the head pointing towards the floor. Take another breath in here. And another breath out. Plant your hands again down to the ground. Walk your feet into a hip width distance. And then step your right leg long back. Drop your right knee down to the ground and find your low lunge by untucking your back toes. And then just resting the left side of your chest and your stomach on your left thigh and allowing the head to drop so that we can find a nice stretch in the front of that right hip crease. So entirely let go of any tension in the upper torso, in the body, allowing that weight, that gravity to feel deeper into that stretch of the right front hip crease. Neck and jaw are soft and relaxed. And we just take one more breath in here. And then tucking the back toes under again, lift the right knee, step your left leg back, find your plank pose. We flow, knees down, chest and chin to the ground. Inhale through cobra. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here in your down dog. Always remember, knees can be bent any amount. And then pressing the hips up high, heels back, chest towards the thighs. One big inhale here. Releasing, exhale out. Heels lift. Left leg this time rises into 3-legged dog. And then bend your left knee and begin to circle forward for 3. Make nice and big circles. See if you can tap into that full range of motion in your left hip crease. If you haven't already, begin to circle the other direction. Keep pushing the chest back, strong in the hands. Connection, hands and mat. Back to your 3-legged dog. And then step yourself up into your high lunge. Left foot comes in between the hands. Right heel lifts, feet press away from each other as we lift easily up into our high lunge. Crescent pose. That's it. Keeping that left knee stacked over the left ankle as we pull the left hip crease a little bit more back. Find your balance here. Exhale, relax your shoulders. And then inhale, hinging from your hips, we lean diagonally out to the front. That's it. Continue to breathe. Maybe bend your left knee a little bit more. Right heel is still lifted. And as we exhale, elbows tap to the outer ribs. Inhale, extend your arms. Exhale, elbows pull in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull them back in. One more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, drop your hands down to the ground. Left leg reaches back, 3-legged dog. With an exhale, left leg steps to the outer left hand. Find your lizard lunge here. Maybe lifting up onto fingertips. Right heel still lifted up high. Finding that engagement in the right leg. Yes, that's it. Big breath here. Any sways, any wiggles that support you in feeling into your left hip, always welcome. Keeping your right hand where it is. We're going to go back into that gentle opening twist, lifting the left arm up into the air. Big inhale here. Big exhale out, gentle pull of the left buttocks back towards the end of the mat. And then exhale, bring your left hand down and extend your left leg into that wide stance, pyramid fold. Finding a little pressure into that left big toe, pulling the left hip back, and then your right hip pushes forward, lengthening crown of the head away from the tailbone. Finding that big sensation of stretch along the back side of your left leg. For one more inhale. And exhale. We're going to look past our fingertips towards the top of the mat to step that right foot up back into our wide-legged forward fold. Again, holding opposite elbows. Maybe you want to change the cross here of your arms. If you remember. Little sways. Feel oh so good. Let's take 2 more breaths here. That's it. Hands dropping down to the mat, heel toe, your feet back to hip width distance. And then from here, step your left leg long back. Knee comes down, find your low lunge on the left, untuck the back toes, and then just allow the whole front side of your torso to drop down towards the ground to rest against that right thigh. The more you drop your head and tuck your chin, the deeper the sensation you can experience in the front of that left hip crease. Allowing the breath to travel In and out of your nose, allowing those tiny little muscles around your eyes and your jaw, around your mouth, to be completely soft. All right, back toes tuck under, lift the left knees, step your right foot back, find your plank pose. Knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale to your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, child's pose is always here. If you'd rather, just drop your knees. We're here for 3 more breaths. Transitioning through, allowing the sequence to unfold, giving our body space and time to digest. As we prepare for our next sequence, we're going to take 1 more breath in here. If you've come down onto your knees into your child's pose, begin to make your way back up into downward dog. And then from here, we all lift the heels. Lift the right leg high up into the air. And then step your right foot up in between your hands. Press the feet away from each other. Inhale again, find Crescent Pose. Beautiful, strong and gentle. At the same time, fingertips are really, really engaged. Shoulders drop away down towards the ground. Taking 1 more breath in here. And as we exhale, pivot that left heel down, open up into your warrior 2, spinning your arms out alongside your shoulder so that you can gaze towards your right hand, making sure your right knee is pointing the same way as your right big toe. Big breath in here. That's it. Activate your arms. Imagine I was standing right behind you. Maybe you can close your eyes. And imagine I was pressing from underneath your arms and you were trying to press them down so that we have this resistance here. Finding 1 more breath. And as we inhale, we're going to come back into Crescent Pose. So your left arm comes forward as we spin back onto the left toes. Finding a nice Crescent Pose here. Now there's 2 ways we can transition into our next pose. You can lean forward like we did earlier and then lift your left leg up into your warrior 3. Maybe if this feels a bit too unstable, just bring your hands to your heart and then lift up into your warrior 3. Wherever we are, hands at the heart or hands reaching forward. Try to keep your left hip drawing down towards the ground, pushing through the ball of that left foot, trying to keep your breath flowing in and out. Always a reminder to stay in the present. 1 more breath in here. And we're going to transition into one-legged Tadasana. So bring that left knee in and up towards your chest. And then take your right hand to the right hip as the left hand finds your left ankle, connecting your left sole of the foot to the inside along your right leg. Above or below the knee, whatever you find stable for this tree pose. Hands can stay at your hips, or maybe you want to go ahead and bring your palms in Anjali Mudra in front of your heart, or extend the arms up overhead. Finding balance in our active tree pose. 1 more breath in here. 1 more breath out. Let's all come into Anjali Mudra, hands in front of the heart as we release the left ankle on top of that right knee, flexing into the left foot. We're going to bend into the right knee, finding a one-legged chair pose, adding a gentle hip opening for the left outer hip, Taking another full breath in here. Finding length, crown of the head pulling upwards as the tailbone pulls down. Take 1 more inhale, last one. And with an exhale, slide that left foot to the outside of the right. So pinky toes connect, crossing left leg in front of the right as we fold forward and down into our cross-legged forward fold. Feeling a nice stretch in that right leg. Taking one more breath here. One more breath out. And then keeping your left foot where it is, step your right leg long back and wiggle your left foot back towards the center of the mat so that we can come into a nice lunge position. From here, pressing the feet away from each other, coming back up into our crescent pose. Inhale. And we have one more balancing pose to go. So from here, we want to go into half moon pose. So again, we're going to lean forward and then the left fingertips find the floor, the mat underneath your left shoulder as you lift your left leg up, right leg up into the air, and maybe spin your right shoulder to stack on top of your left, finding the balance here. Maybe you're going to stay here, pressing actively through the right ball of the foot, opening up through that right shoulder. If you feel super balanced for today, how about taking the support of the earth away by lifting yourself up a little so that your arms are just in the air. Wherever you are, try and see if you can add a gentle smile onto your face. And take one more breath in before we transition back into our warrior two, bending into that left knee, stepping the right leg back and finding warrior two, this time with the left knee bent. That's it. Sit nice and low into your warrior. And then reversing the warrior, flip your left hand, reach out towards the top of the mat, and then take that length into your entire left side body as you slide the right hand down the outer right leg. Find your reversed warrior. Big breath in here. Peaceful warrior. And with an exhale, we're going to take the hands, bring them down, frame your left foot. Step your left leg back, find your plank pose. We're going to hold our plank for 5 counts. If you want to fire up things, lift your right foot or keep it lowered for 3, for 2, for 1. Knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to down dog. We've got one more side to go to complete our second sequence. So catch your breath here in down dog. Allow softness to wash over the body. Taking another inhale, maybe opening out your mouth, opening up your mouth so you can breathe out. As your heels lift with your next inhale, your left leg rises up into the air. And then your left leg steps all the way up in between your hands. Taking a big breath in here, lengthen your spine, press the feet firmly into the ground. Lift yourself up into your crescent pose. That's it. Right heel is lifted. Keep that energy, that active lower body. Yes, shoulders soft. Yep. And then with an exhale, we're going to open up into warrior two, pivoting the right heel down, extending arms out of the shoulders, stacking left heel over the left ankle, gaze towards the left fingertips. Again, finding that imaginary resistance of your arms against the force that's pressing up. Breathe here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Next inhale, transitioning back into your crescent pose. Right arm comes down and forward as we pivot onto the right toes. Both arms reaching up into the air. Transitioning from here, remember, into warrior three. Either your arms stay as they are, or you bring them towards your heart, hinging out your hips, leaning diagonally forward. We're going to lift and take a flight into warrior three. In warrior three this time, try to turn your right hip towards the floor. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep your right big toe pressing back strong. One more breath. With an inhale, one-legged Tadasana, bring your right heel and right knee towards your chest. And then hands to the heart. Or you can go ahead right away, grab your right ankle, left hand to the hip, and connect into your tree pose. And then find your variation for the hands. Anjali Mudra, arms extended. Or for better balance, both hands connected to your hips. Slight tuck of the chin to allow the back of the neck to stay in extension with your spine. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Preparing for our standing pigeon fold. Release the right ankle on top of your left knee. Take your hands to your heart and then begin to sit lower into this right hip opener, flexing nicely into your right foot, allowing for some protection in the right knee here. Maybe you can sit a little bit lower. Breathing here, lower back is nice and long. With your next exhalation, we're going to slide that right foot to the outer left pinky side of the foot. And then fold forward and down, finding your cross-legged Uttanasana. Feeling that nice stretch in the outer left side of your leg. Big inhale here. Big exhale out. Your left foot steps back and your right one comes towards the center of the mat, finding your lunge position. Preparing to lift yourself back up into your crescent pose. Left heel lifts. Inhale, arms reach all the way up and overhead. One more time here. And then finding your half moon on this side. Your right hand is going to come down towards the ground in front of you. Left arm keeps reaching up, and then we take a flight with the left foot. Finding your half moon, your Ardha Chandrasana pose here. Stacking your shoulders on top of each other, pushing through the ball of that left foot. Remembering to keep a micro bend in your standing leg. Taking one more full breath in here. And then deciding if you want to stay here. Or maybe try that full balancing variation of half moon. Lifting your right hand off the ground for 3, for 2, and 1. We're going to step back softly into Warrior 2, rebending the right knee, taking a little step back with the left foot, landing in our Warrior 2 gracefully here, gazing towards the right fingertips. Peaceful warrior. We're going to flip that right hand, reach out to the top of the mat, taking and inviting that length into your right side body as the left hand slides down the outside of your left outer thigh. Breathing in here, bending deep into that right knee. And we're going to exhale, taking the hands to frame that right foot. Stepping back into your plank pose. And then from here, go ahead and see if you can lift that left leg for 3, 2, 1. Bring your feet down, knees down. Come back into any variation of child's pose that suits you. Either big toes touching and then arms reaching forward, resting your forehead down to the mat. Maybe you want to keep the knees together and reach the hands back. In your child's pose, allowing your breath to come back into a neutral state. I want to share a story that I learned in my recent teacher training, and I really like the story, so you can stay in your child's pose, get comfortable as I share this story, which is about Buddha and a Brahmin priest. So Brahmins is a very high caste in the Indian society, and Brahmins in the time where Buddha lived were known to be people that can help everyone to become liberated and enlightened. But Buddha was not really agreeing to the way the Brahmin priests were sharing that knowledge, because they thought that people have to come to see them to do a certain ceremony, and that they have to donate a lot of money to their temples in order to be granted access to the divine. And Buddha said that he knew another way, and he believed there was another way to find liberation and enlightenment. So one day, Buddha was walking down a street, and all of a sudden he was attacked by a Brahmin priest, just verbally. But that Brahmin priest was not happy about Buddha's teaching. So he insulted Buddha, and a crowd formed watching the two, curious to see what the wise Buddha would say and how he would react to the attack of the Brahmin priest. So Buddha asked the priest, "Do you ever have guests coming over to your home?" And the Brahmin priest said, "Yes, of course, all the time." And then Buddha said, "What do you feed? Do you feed them?" And the priest said, "Yeah, sure, because every good host will feed their guests." And then the Buddha continued asking, "Who does the food belong to?" And the priest replies, "Of course, it's my food." And then the Buddha asks, "What if your guests don't eat the food?" And the priest says, "Well, in that case, the food still belongs to me." And then Buddha said, "Well, then to me, it's like this. You offer me your hatred and your insults, but I am not going to accept them. So therefore, your hatred and your insults are still belonging to you and not to me." And he turns and he peacefully walks away. So I really enjoyed this story, because in our days and times, even this is maybe 4,000 years ago, we will still encounter people that give us hate and that are toxic. But it's our choice to accept constructive criticism from people that share it from their heart and with love. But we can also decide to let the people keep their toxics and to keep their hatred without accepting them. So taking another full breath in here. Letting that story unfold to your understanding. And whenever you're ready, maybe you want to keep your eyes closed, you want to go ahead and just turn yourself over so that you can come to lie on your back. Keep the soles of the feet grounded. Keep the knees pointing up into the air. And have your arms reach down alongside the body. Feet are hip-width distanced. And your heels are a little bit closer towards your hips, towards your buttocks. Now from here, press hard into your heels so that you can feel the lower back connect firmly with the mat underneath. And then keeping that length in your lower spine, you're going to lift up, pressing even harder into your feet now so that you can come up into your bridge pose, lifting your hips off the mat. Trying to keep your knees still parallel to each other, pointing in the direction of your big toes. You can decide to stay here, or you could bring your hands together underneath your lower back, maybe wiggling a little bit so that your shoulder blades slide in a little bit closer, interlacing your hands then and finding a press of your forearms and your pinky fingers down into the ground, allowing the hips to lift up even higher. Still imagining you had something that you were pressing together with your inner thighs. Breathing in, breathing out here. Allowing that lift to not construct your airway so that you can continuously breathe in and out of your nose. We're here for a couple more breaths, engaging through the back sides of the legs, your glutes, your lower back. And then if your hands are interlaced, slowly let the fingers break free. Bring your hands out alongside the body again. And very slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, from the top of your spine, roll down until in the end your hips are grounding back to the floor. Stay as you are and just drop your knees over to the right. Both knees dropping to the right. Reaching your arms up overhead, finding a nice stretch here through the left side of the body, all the way down, maybe into that left thigh. And then swapping, bringing the knees over to your left side. Just drop them simultaneously all the way over to your left. Keep your arms reaching up. Feel that nice opening along the right side of the body, right hip, into that right thigh. And then bringing the knees back to center. We're going to transition into happy baby. So take a reach for your hands from the insides of your thighs. Lift your feet up, pointing the soles of the feet towards the ceiling. Wrap your hands from the insides of your shins to the outsides of your edges of the feet, pinky side edges of the feet. Trying to keep the entire spine grounded. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the neck elongated on top of your spine. And then having a gentle press of your soles of the feet against your hands. Knees and ankles stacked here. Finding that big space, that opening around your hip, your pelvis, into the backs of your hamstrings. Taking another full breath in here. And a gentle exhale out. Releasing your feet down to the ground. We're going to take a gentle twist here so your arms come out alongside the shoulders. And then just lift your feet off the floor again and drop both knees over to the right side, connecting your right hand on top of that left knee if it feels right. Allowing the neck to face any way it's good for you right now, maybe looking up or dropping your head so that your gaze goes over to the left hand. And we want to reconnect to that parasympathetic nervous system, that place of rest where we started off. Drawing deep breaths all the way down into the area of our navel. As a signal for our nervous system to switch gears and to come back into that rest and digest state. Coming through center, take your time to release your hand from the knee, bring your knees back to the center, and just finding your supine twist to the other side. Connecting left hand on top of the right knee, finding a gaze straight up toward to your right. And once you have your final position, connecting back to that deep belly breathing. Bringing yourself back through center. We're going to go ahead and bring the soles of the feet to connect, letting the knees drop out to the sides. And then you can go ahead and rest your left hand on your belly, your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart. Finding a reclined butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe lifting your shoulders a little bit up towards the top of the mat and pressing your edges of the feet a little bit down to lengthen out through the spine. And
we're just going to stay here for about 5 breaths before we transition into your Shavasana. So just resist of putting on any clothes yet. Let's just stay here. I'll give you a chance to slip into socks or take a blanket or get yourself comfortable in just a moment. Take one last breath in through the nose here. Open your mouth, exhale, letting go of any residual remaining tension of your body. And now feel free, if you need to cover yourself up, to add any clothing necessary to keep yourself warm, to make yourself feel safe and protected as we slip back into stillness, into our Shavasana. And once you're ready to receive the benefits of this practice, to fully open up to new potential in your Shavasana, take your hands together for one more time before we rest in complete silence, and rub your palms. Really go ahead and rub your palms as hard as you can, creating heat on the insides of your hands. Mine are slowly starting to get warm, but just keep rubbing a little bit more, really finding that energy creation between your hands. Rub a little bit harder, and then go ahead and place your hands onto your face, closing out any light as you cover your eyes, noticing how that may help to relax your facial muscles, your eyes, your tiny little muscles around your jaw, your mouth, your forehead, to completely soften and let go. And whenever you feel ready to release your hands from your face, extend them back out alongside the body, finding complete silence here, complete stillness. Allowing the magic of yoga to unfold in a receiving gesture with your palms facing up. Shavasana. Slowly drawing your awareness back to your breath. Finding those equal length inhalations and exhalations again. Bringing yourself back to full awareness of your body on the mat, the space around you, allowing sounds and sensations to come back to the surface as you slowly begin moving into your fingers and toes. Maybe you want to drop your ears side to side, finding that gentle rotation in the cervical spine, your neck. Taking a nice long stretch always feels great after lying in stillness, so feel free to reach your arms up overhead and then in your very own time bring the knees into the chest. Maybe find a sway or a little rock side to side here before you come to lie on one side, resting on your hip and your shoulder and the side of your head. One more time, taking a moment here to reconnect to your inner strength, to your inner happiness that belongs entirely to you, before you sit up into a nice upright position. Connecting your palms in front of your heart, bowing gently, chin to chest. Find gratitude for having practiced, for having connected, for having moved and having breathed, but most of all for taking care of yourself so that you can serve others from a place of contentment and happiness. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you very much.